right, good morning, Tiffany. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me this morning. I would like to talk to you a little bit about your experience. You started to tell me about what you do, but I did stop you because I'd love to have this portion recorded so I can share it with my clients. So, why don't you talk to me a little bit about what your current job is and what you do there?
Yes. So I work as a purchasing coordinator for a manufacturer that does countertops. So it's like quartz, granite, high max, solid surface type. And I purchase all those different materials from different vendors throughout the state and even nationwide, trying to source materials out. Also, I do sinks. So I try to source out different models of sinks throughout the nation and in Florida also. I am a corporate, I've worked for a corporate company, and so I'm familiar with how the processes and procedures go as far as corporate ran businesses. As far as purchasing, I usually forecast out what materials I need, like a 30-day span per builder or customer that we have, because we work with builders normally and Home Depot. So um, a PO comes in and they need certain material. Well, I run a report that's usually about 30 days out to see what materials, what colors, size, width, all that is needed. Some things are even customer select, so sometimes we have to bring it in and let the customer view it, and then they decide whether or not they want that material. And if they don't, then I have to find another place that has that material but looks a little different for them that they may like. Also, I uh, reach out to different vendors in hopes of like better pricing and stuff like that to be more cost efficient for our company. So I might source a sink from one company, but say it's their freight is a lot more, or shipping is going to be a lot later than what I need it for an install, then I may try to reach out to another source and see what their freight and their shipping time would be, to be a little bit more cost efficient and better for our customer. I also have Sometimes we have some challenges where jobs may push up and I need to get material in as quick as possible, but say like my vendors only deliver certain days out the week. Then I'll try to reach out to see who's local and has the same material and see if I can't, bring it in quicker. And it might cost a little bit for the company, but if you keep a good rapport with your customer, then you'll have continuous jobs coming in. So I also run Excel sheets like that, to kind of break down and explain, why I ordered what I ordered and when I did. And I report those back to corporate also. And then I also do returns of materials. I do claims of materials. I work with the vendors on, restocking fees and stuff like that and getting credits back for material that we returned, or say there was like a warranty if something like material wasn't came in, it was like chipped or had a crack in it or just wasn't up to standard. I'll work back with the vendor and be like, hey, can you discount this to like 70% because we can only use 70% of the slab, type thing, to try to get a better deal. Or do you want it back and you replace a new slab, type of thing. So I kind of work hand in hand with my vendors to try to negotiate, what works for us, but also keeps, you know, good flow and good rapport with them so that they work good with me. And if I call them on the spur, they can, bring something in real quick for me. And it's not, constantly like I'm just smacking at them. But yeah, so those are kind of the challenges I have when it comes to that. But for the most part, it's a good flow. There's always going to be some back order and some supply chain issues from time to time, but as long as you keep a good communication with it, with everyone, then, everyone's understanding of those kind of things, supply and demand.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. There's a couple things that I wanted to point out. So you have been with this company since 2017.
Yes.
Okay. So when we talked a little bit about this before, this is really important. I mean, you started off as an order processor, then you went to account support, and then you went into this role. So I feel like that shows, really good commitment to your company. So my next question to you, and of course this would be, something that is confidential that we would only be sharing with our clients that are actually hiring for this type of role. But why would you want to leave since you've been there since 2017?
Well, I don't ever want to leave any job that has been good to me. And I am very much that type of person that when I do something, I do it with 150. I put my whole heart into it. I care about it. I love what I do when I do it. And you're going to see that when I'm doing something, you're going to see how much I care about it. So the reason why I would leave is because I just don't feel like there's any room for growth because of how, there's been some transactions with management and stuff. I just don't see that there's any growth for me. I'm kind of going to be stuck just doing this. And I feel like I could be utilized a little bit better. I feel like my input and my knowledge could be, used in more areas than what it is. I do the same day to day task every day, and I don't feel like I'm being challenged where I probably could. Um, I have good insight, I have good experience. I have supply and distribution under me where I worked at the hospital with inventory. So I understand inventory and I understand purchasing. And they go hand in hand, but they're two separate entities.
Yeah.
But they very much, go hand in hand. And so I understand them both. And I think that's just something that I'm not being considered at my current position.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that. I know that you were explaining to me before that there's been a lot of movement in the company and some internal um, issues concerns. So now, as far as your um, software, tell me a little bit about that. I see a couple different softwares listed here. Is it proprietary that what you're using now to do your job? We're using Excel.
So we have our own system called Moreware. It was kind of like built for our company,
Mhm.
um, which that kind of like transacts the whole process of like templating a job to ordering it when it goes through the shop, when it goes through a photo room, when it goes to quality control, and then out the door to be installed. So used to that software where it's kind of like a tracking from start to finish with the job.
So,
If you're
oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was going to ask about Excel. We talked about that a little bit before the call, and you are doing V lookups, and this was you uh, self-taught to learn Excel.
Yes, so I run reports through those systems from Moreware and SAP, and they both give me two separate reports. One is of the jobs coming, like a forecast, and the other in SAP is basically showing me what's in my inventory, what I have coming in, and all that kind of good. So I compare the two and make them into an Excel, and I make what I call like a forecast, where it's like, okay, these are the jobs coming out of Moreware, and these are the materials that I already have on hand and I got ordered already coming in SAP. And I compare the two and I make like an Excel sheet forecast and I put it into a pivot table, kind of breaks everything down to try to make it a little bit more streamlined and dummy proof, if I should say, to know how much of what I got already on hand and what jobs they kind of go for. Because sometimes we have some models too, and we bring in free material and it's like, no, don't touch that material, that goes just for that job. So it's like, yeah, I may have two slabs of something, but no, that's for a model, don't touch it. So it's kind
Got
of those kind of things.
Okay. Well, great. I think you've answered just about everything that I needed to talk to you about on this part of the interview. But don't go anywhere. We got a few more things to talk about. I'm going to just stop the recording.
Okay.